got to admit something that's very dear to my heart here. It's very simple and very concise. I am now on the journey of embarking on the mismanagement of Little League baseball games. Um, come on, man. Come on, man. We did miss last night. Live show. We are back here today. Good to be with you. We are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports. Hope all of you are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. Tons to get to. Carter doesn't join us in the opening episode of the week that we have live here. We actually recorded it with him last night. Those are all on our YouTube channel. We had a fantastic discussion. You can go over there and listen to it as well. Tonight, we get into a Ruffino's rants. Last week, and really the last 2 weeks, we have been preparing you, or I have been preparing you, at least I've tried to prepare you, in reference to LSU's collective. Now, Wilson Alexander of The Advocate comes out with a fantastic piece today in reference to what's going on there and things that need to be changed. Something that we've talked about, but I'm going to go on a rant. I'm going to try to paint this out as best I can. Some of you are going to hate me for it. Some of you are going to agree. Some of you are going to disagree. Some of you may love it. But nevertheless, it's the way that I see it. And I hope that we can have a good debate and agree to disagree if we must. Just hold off on the personal shots because I'm not out here taking personal shots at you like a lot of you take at me. But we're going to have to discuss on it. LSU baseball loses the series to Alabama. Wish we could have gotten into it yesterday. No midweek game, which is glorious to be live on a Tuesday at this time, because normally we're not able to be live at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on a Tuesday because of midweek baseball. But we are glad that we're able to do it here. But you always wish you had some LSU baseball, I guess, even regardless of how bad the team has been. We'll touch on that as well. We got some Saints overreaction. Spencer Rattler went 11 for 12. No, they didn't have helmets or pads on. He looks exceptional. He's going to be the heir apparent to Derek Carr. All that proves to me, when all of you say this, Rudy Poo, I've even seen people starting to compare Spencer Rattler to Patrick Mahomes. That's Patrick Mahomian. Dear heavens. Dear heavens. Calm yourselves. We'll touch on that as well. Oh, by the way, LSU is still out there portal hunting. We'll talk about Javier Suggs, his visit that happened as well, and where things may stand. And you're going after Walker, the DB from Tennessee. Tyler Barron has gotten into the fold, his stepbrother. So we'll mention that as well here tonight as we get going. All right, let's get to a couple comments. Holden Lee says, I thought this is why we hired Austin Thomas. It is, but, I mean, Austin Thomas has bosses, and, look, it is what it is. I mean, if LSU as a whole doesn't want – and, look, we're going to get into all this, Holden, so I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Just keep that thought. I'm not putting any of this on Austin Thomas. Tony Williams says, let's go. Good to have you in here as well. Yeah, where is everybody watching the show from tonight? Are you in the 337, the 504, the 225, the 985, the 318? Which, by the way, the people in the 318 trying to get rid of Delta 8 and Delta 9 products? We are moving backwards as a state, man. It continues every single day. But Tyler Townsend said he's from Blanchard, Louisiana, in the 318-31 grade. Tell your people, Tyler, we need the Delta 8 gummies, man. Tell them, do not ban the Delta 9 gummies, man. Make it legal. Or keep it legal, I should say. But he says, let's go from Blanchard, Louisiana, the 318. Ryan Williams says, free the gummies. Now, that hashtag could be used in a lot of different ways. It can be used for Delta 9 gummies, Delta 8 gummies. I could also assume that it could be also used for teethless prostitutes. I mean, it just all depends, really, on how you want to use this hashtag. But I don't disagree with our good man from the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. By the way, they have their new offices. Dude, there's no law firm in the local area here that has a better law office than them. But regardless, hashtag free to gummies. I do agree. Bundy on Facebook says still no defensive tackles and none in recruiting, but we keep after or going after or getting OL players or offensive linemen. We need defensive tackles, some good ones in recruiting. Come on, BK. Well, I mean, Brad Davis is just doing Brad Davis things, man, and you gotta love him for it. Paul's up says that Rattler is poisonous. Snake joke, LOL. Good one. It's really good dad joke there. He says Rattler's performance is literally live or die, depending on the day. Just as Oklahoma and South Carolina 1,000% agree. But he says Rattler hype. I 100% agree. I'm going to end the show with it. Guys, I got to be completely honest. There are a couple guys that really do good covering the Saints. I think their opinions are sound and rooted in doctrine, but I just don't get, like, every time that there are people that cover the Saints and open their mouth in reference to, like, oh, Spencer Rattler this, Spencer Rattler that. I'm like, dude, buddy, like, you are proving to football knowers that you really don't know football. It's really difficult to be a journalist and a guy that can break down football and be both. Like, there's a reason you don't see Adam Schefter breaking down schematics, because that's not his skill set. The great ones can do both. All right, a couple more. Connor says hashtag Livingston Parish Gummies. Well, see that? I mean, man, that hashtag can be used in a lot of different ways. Are you talking about the Delta 8 or Delta 9s? Are you talking about Livingston Parish prostitutes? Yeah. That it could be used in so many different ways. Steven on YouTube says we can't force defensive tackles to come if they don't want to come here. Yeah, I guess not. Aaron Miller says 3 wins gets LSU baseball into 64. I agree with you there. We'll talk about that tonight too. Man, do you really, really, really need to take this weekend series? And not only that, you need to find a way to sweep. And I don't think you're doing it. Ole Miss is up on Southern Miss, or was up on Southern Miss 4-0 the last time I checked. All right, last one before we get rolling. Rick says we need former LSU great defensive linemen to help with the recruiting. So yeah, we do have a little bit of breaking news here, so stand by. I will lean with this out of the break. JVR Suggs from Grand Valley State says, I'm planning on committing tomorrow to a home. All glory to God. We'll talk about him leading out of the break, what I feel, and we'll go from there. We'll start with that, and then we'll get into the Rufinos rants. All right, let's get rolling. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share to all of those groups. If you're on Facebook, do us a favor. Hit that like button, hit the share, all those groups, all your social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell, wherever you listen to podcasts. Rate, review, and subscribe. Let's talk about our good friends over at BetOnline. Our good friend Tyler Alexander over at LPT Realty. And our good friends over at J&J Exterminating. Stay with us. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events, with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. No, not mud bugs. Unwanted bugs like these. The ones you don't want crawling in your home or business. Trust the Shield from J&J Exterminating. We've been protecting Louisiana homes for over 50 years, earning the trust of our clients because we deliver what we promise. Protect your home from pests. Get the Shield from J&J Exterminating.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
We're back. Let's get this thing rolling, y'all. So we're going to deviate very quickly and then come back to it. But Javier Suggs from Grand Valley State, the defensive tackle, just announced, literally as we're live on the show, or if you're watching this clip, it's coming back to you. But he is planning on committing tomorrow, or if you're watching the clip today. And here's what I know at 7:19 p.m. Central Standard Time on May the 14th. I think LSU put themselves in a very good position to land him. I do think that there are a lot of questions that Suggs had in reference to what LSU could provide for him, going that far away from the Midwest down to the South, what the depth chart looked like. I mean, asking tons of questions in reference to how are you going to utilize me? Am I going to get lost on the depth chart? Are you bringing me here because you need help and you want me to be, just this rotational piece so that you can win? I want to go somewhere where I can play and be an impact guy. I think he got all of those questions answered. I don't think NIL is going to be an issue here. I think that Brian Kelly having some connections with Suggs before coming on this visit helps him. I do know that there were a lot of hands on deck when it came to Brian Kelly being involved, Blake Baker being involved, Bo Davis being involved. And here's the truth. You need him. The reason that you need him and the reason you can't afford to lose him is simple. Guys, you're an injury away, okay, from your starting defensive tackles being Gio Paez, which could be one, and he may be very serviceable. But that you have a rotation with guys like Sean Washington, who doesn't seem, at least from what we saw during the spring, that he's not ready yet, and Kimo Makanole, who is the offensive lineman who transferred. There's probably a bad word to use in today's college football, but was moved from the offensive side of the football to the defensive side of things. You need him. Now, you do got Don McKinley coming in, so that's going to be a good addition for you. But you need him. You need the experience. I talked about on the episode with Carter last night that was aired this morning, there is something to be said about guys that have really good reps and that can come in here and play now. Now, do I think that he is going to be a bona fide SEC first, second team type of guy? No, I do not. I actually do not, because I think when you bring a guy in from that low of a level up to you, that you have to be able to see things before you can make that prediction. It's a massive leap. You're going from a lower tier program to the toppest tier programs in the toughest conference in the country. So I think for me at least, I would need to get my eyes on him, but you definitely need him as a depth piece. Here's what I will say. At this exact moment, I don't have a pick either which way. I do feel good that anytime, now I'm not saying that this is gung-ho 100% going to happen, but I always feel good when a recruit comes out and after the last visit, even though it didn't happen with Demonic Williams, even though that was all about money, I always feel good when you make that last push. LSU cannot afford to lose on this one. He will be a good rotational piece for you, at minimum, in my opinion. Let's hope that they land. Now, I will make phone calls after the show was over with. I already sent out a couple of texts to see where some things may stand, and we'll just go from there at the current moment. But be on the forum, ayssnetwork.com/forum. I'll probably throw some stuff in there tonight after we get a little bit more than we do right now. I do need to get to this Rufino's rants. It's ironic that it kind of flows into this, but I want to talk about this Wilson Alexander piece. Wilson from, obviously, The Advocate. So let's get to it. Today, Wilson Alexander published a piece for The Advocate in reference to LSU's NIL collective. And I think that there's a lot of things to break down here and the future or where LSU stands. Now, I know that you're probably very aggravated about having these conversations over and over again, but it's a massive piece that Wilson wrote, and I think that we need to break it down step by step. And it was something, ironically, that Wilson and I discussed about last week when he was on the show, briefly, but we discussed. But I'm just going to read some snippets here from Wilson's piece, and you can go read it. I highly encourage all of you to go and read it. But basically, the two big things here is that LSU's collective is operating with around $8 million. Large chunk of change. You and I would love if we woke up tomorrow morning and our bank account had $8 million. Good job on LSU for raising that money. Stay with me. It's not enough. And I know that you're going to be mad at me, but I'm going to give you reasons as to what we and LSU needs to do, which is also in Wilson's piece that other schools are doing that LSU is planning on releasing. Ryan Day said that it costs $13 million a year for his roster, any given year. Well, so that means LSU is probably about $5 million behind them. Obviously, they're replenishing things for sure. But for the top premier program, you have a head coach on record saying that that's how much it costs. With that being said, let's look at what Ohio State did. Something that LSU at least has given to Wilson that they're planning on doing, and it's something that you and I have talked about. Stay with me. Don't go anywhere. Stay here. Guys, unfortunately, us as fans, myself included, are going to need to get involved in helping with NIL. I hate it for all of us that we have to be, that we have to be the bearer of helping give LSU more money to be able to get really good players in here. It's not what any of us wanted, but it's also what is right now in college football needing to be required. LSU, and we've talked about this for well over the last month, the actual day, ironically, was a month ago the day that you and I spoke, the day before the portal came open, when we had our first conversation about LSU's NIL collective. The conversation pretty much went with me telling you, listen, I know that you might not want to. I know that it's unfair to ask you. But LSU is going to have to replicate what other teams are doing and other universities are doing with their NIL collective and asking fans to get involved. Now, that doesn't mean LSU is going to be perfect here. And if you give large chunks of money, that they are just going to, oh, thank you so much. And give you a look behind the curtain, let you go to a practice. There's no return on this investment when it comes to monetary. But the return on investment that you will get in any of this is the celebration that you have after the LSU Tigers win their 9th, 10th game in the regular season, and you say, hey, man, LSU is finally on track. Now that Saban has left, we are on track and doing exactly what it is that we need to do to win high premier football games in this conference and in this league. Now, here's the thing. You do not have to contribute to LSU's collective. And I'm assuming, based off of the conversations that I've had with you on the show, and based on the article that Wilson Alexander wrote, that they're going to start making Bayou traditions more out and open in the public. I don't care what massive boosters have to say about it. I don't care what anybody has to say about it. Guys, it's unfortunately the world that you're working in. And when you don't want to be in that world, you lean more towards how Dabo Swinney operates versus how other schools do. Now, you're not even remotely close to Dabo. That's probably a horrible comparison. But you're going to have to be able, if Ryan Day says, hey, my roster costs $13 million a year to maintain. You know what Ohio State fans did without blinking an eye? They sent out a link to their collective, and fans said, all right, we understand, and we're going after it. Because they understand what getting a Caleb Downs, arguably the best defensive player in all of college football, what it means to get that guy in Ohio, what it means to get Quinshon Judkins, what it means, now you're going to laugh at this one, what it actually does mean to get Will Howard, because they think that they can compete with him being serviceable. They went all in and getting Chip Kelly as their OC. I understand it's unfortunate, and I'm not asking you to give. Do I think that most fans, if you're able or if you have the funds that you should, 100%. You know, 100,000 people, and I think this is ironic, you might not want to give money and contribute to the collective. And I'm not a spokesperson for it. I don't get paid by the collective. I don't get paid by LSU. But I am a fan like you are. And you know what the number one thing that I want to see? The number one thing that I want to see is I want to see LSU have that dynasty run that I know that they can have. And the way that they do that is by contributing an NIL. If 5,000 people of the 100,000 that pack Tiger Stadium in a home game, if they contributed $50, that'd be $250,000 a month that would be contributed to a collective. Do you need more? Yeah, you do. But it would hell be of a start. Here's where I after I say all of this, here's the problem with that. Because what people, I am so tired of this fly. Here's what what some people hear me say. And it's not what I'm saying. Oh, Blake is saying that the fans got to do better. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we need to contribute. But there's a massive problem with that. And I've told you that it's a massive problem, and I've called LSU out on it, so much so it feels like that they're using Wilson to bring out an article. But what they have to do is be more out front and getting their collective out there. Guys, the renovations, the stuff that you're trying to do, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, all Alabama, all of these, Ohio State, all of these schools have put massive projects on the back burner mainly due to the fact that they want to continue to be competitive. Now, you can say, well, Blake, going to the transfer portal, it's not how a team's built. Who ever talked about the portal? Guys, today, it was reported that the number one player in the country who hails from the state of Louisiana in 2026 is making a very vast decision on if he wants to reclassify for 2025. Big reason being for Jaheim Stewart is mainly due to the fact that there are teams already offering him 7 figures. So this isn't just a transfer portal issue. You had that same issue happen with you last year in high school recruiting during the Colin Simmons debacle. That you did not want to go above or match Texas. The problem is you got to be able to put your collective out there and say, check. Check. Like when you're at a blackjack table and the price raises, you can go check if you want to do it. You can give your current players more money. The issue has been that you have not put and given the access. Guys, there's millions upon millions of LSU fans. Millions. And LSU has not done a good enough job at getting it out there to, guys, what did 10,000, 20,000 people give a month? Where does that put you? You can say, well, Blake, it fractures the locker room. Look at Texas A&M. Texas A&M had people on their roster and players on their roster that weren't getting paid, and then the freshman class did, and it divided their locker room. Please come up with a better argument, because players on LSU's campus for football is getting paid right now. It's the world that we live in. It is unfortunate. I see this in the comments because I just got told by the guys. I will bring this up because this is my point number 4. Blake, should LSU incentivize donating to the collective by giving fans chances to win tickets, etc.? Luke, 1,000%. They got to be better at organizing that and doing stuff like that. Hey, have a chance to come to a practice. Don't say you won't do it. You let TAF members out there. You got to be aligned from TAF and the collective. And I know that there are a lot of older people that do not want to contribute money to go to players to get paid. It's pro sports now. Big dog, I got something to tell all of you. It always has been. The only issue is that the schools were getting paid millions upon millions of dollars, where the kids, oh, Blake, they're getting paid. They get a scholarship. No, a scholarship for every other kid is the school agreeing to pay for their school for the services. Everything else, the TV revenue. By the way, the $50 million that LSU made in TV revenue alone last year well exceeds the tuition that's being paid every year. Well exceeds it. LSU came out and there was an article, LSU operated in the red last year. Okay, well, accountants are really good at their fucking jobs. You're going to tell me that LSU's broke? You're losing your freaking minds. Here's another thing. If the rumors are true that a guy like Jaheim Stewart is getting 7 figures in NIL presented to him, what are you willing to combat? So here's a guy that's never played a down. Here's a guy that's never put on an LSU or college football uniform ever in a playing situation, and that's already the going rate, allegedly, from On3 that's out there. Throwing it out there. Do I believe that that's actually accurate? I'm going to be a little honest. No, I do not. But I'm going to go based off of On3's reporting that those numbers have been tossed out there. Are you going to balk about a kid that's never played a down before in his life? You need to be able to say, you know what? This is a kid in our home state, and we're going to go after it. Because he plays a position that, ironically, we desperately need. It lines up with what how we're trying to build in high school recruiting. Another thing here too, and I think it's very ironic. What's interesting is the player that gets that type of money, usually the family of that player, because they're usually like, oh, that family, man, all they worry about is the money. What we never talk about is the schools that are willing, and the head coaches that, by the way, are giving the final okay to pay a player that much. We never get on the schools about how much they're paying kids in NIL. So you'll shit on the kid, you'll shit on college football, but what you don't do is say, you know what? The people who are actually contributing to this because they actually want to win, it's actually, if the schools didn't want to do it and the boosters didn't want to do it, they wouldn't have done it. You ever thought about that? Jaheim Stewart or whoever it is just reacting to what is being presented in front of him. Why wouldn't he take it? In reference to the collective, you are LSU, and I am quite honestly tired of hearing, because you got money. You have money. You have $8 million sitting in a collective. $8 million. Just chilling there. And you know what's even more nuts about it? You really didn't do shit to get there. You didn't really promote it well enough. You didn't push it out to the fans enough, and you got $8 million sitting right in a bank account. What happens when you start pushing it and pursuing it? Now, I see a lot of you in the comments, and I would love for you, if you're rewatching this clip, what are your thoughts about it? Would you donate? How about this? If you're watching the clip or you're live right now, thumbs up in the chat. Would you donate to the collective? Thumbs down if you wouldn't. And there's no right or wrong answer. I can even put a poll. Guys, I'm going to do this right quick. I will even put in a poll on YouTube. Now, I'm sorry for the people that don't get this, that it's clipped, because you're not going to be able to see this, but I'm going to put in the poll right here live on Twitter, which, by the way, there's 100 plus of you in here and only 43 likes. That's not good enough. We got to get those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. Start a poll. Yes or no? Would you contribute, make sure I don't misspell that, to a collective? Question mark. Start poll. It's in YouTube. How many people are you missing right now? And I see a lot of you putting your fingers up. Well, go Tigers. I can't promise you that. I don't know what they would do. And Aaron Miller says, can you guarantee the contribution goes to a specific team? I don't know that. That's what they have to work out. That's on them to work that out. And you know what I would do if I were them? They probably shouldn't do this. I would put donate, and I'd put each thing for NIL in the collective. I would literally list all of the sports on a sidebar and say, donate to this. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And you know what? There is no Title IX in NIL. Zero. I heard somebody trying to make that argument the other day. No. Final thing. I lie. It could be like the second to final thing. Who knows? Remember in 1999 when LSU did the impossible, or maybe not impossible, because Nick Saban was losing at Michigan State. But you went out and paid a guy named Nick Saban, who really didn't do well at Michigan State, to bring him here, made him the highest paid coach. LSU's giving $1 million to who? Oh, well, he just wound up to be the greatest head coach of all time in college football. You are trendsetters. When you go to the White House and you get the GAT on the front lawn, that's who you are as a program. You're trendsetters. You can't back off in doing it now. Now, you won't be trendsetters here, but you need to start playing a little catch up. And that's just the truth. I have no idea, no remote idea of how much or how many people are donating. But I do know this. If you get a line behind it and say what, like, let me just tell you this. I could sell this easy peasy lemon squeezy. Here's the first thing that I would do. Guys, bottom line, I want LSU to win. I want LSU to have dynasty runs. I want LSU to make deep pushes in the playoff. I want them to dominate the SEC. Fuck Texas. Fuck Bama. Fuck Georgia. Fuck all of them. Let's get this shit done. Let's go dominate. I can't have more energy. I can't have more conviction. I can't have more want to than anybody that's employed there. But I know one damn thing, I do and would. I would go sling $50 slips for the collective on the street corner if I had to. I want LSU to be great. Not good, not 9-3, 9-3, 9-3, 9-3, national championship, 9-3, 9-3. I want it all. I want to go to the Chinese buffet. I want to go to Piccadilly and say, you know what? Screw it. I want to be like the rich guy that goes to a restaurant and says he's not worried about money because he can have whatever on the menu that he wants. If he wants escargot, caviar, lobster, ribeye steaks, if he wants to buy the whole goddamn restaurant, if he wants to be like Bruce Wayne in Batman, Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, whatever the hell it was. I want to be like Bruce Wayne when he's got supermodels in the swimming pool and saying, sir, your supermodels can't be in the pool. And he goes, well, how about this? I just stroked a check. I'm your boss now. That's what I want LSU to be. No, I don't even know how to explain this last part. No exceptions. No exceptions. Nothing else from this place is acceptable, nor should it be acceptable to you. You can have your own thoughts about what you believe about NIL. And I think, deep down, I think a lot of us agree on a lot of the same things. But either you're going to continue to sit there and whine about it, either whine about it as a fan, whine about it as an administration, and not go out there and do enough about it. Now, you told me by hiring somebody in Austin Thomas, which none of this is on Austin Thomas. Some of it's really not all on Brian Kelly. But you literally, your actions went on. And Brian Kelly said in a press conference last week, look, man, we had to hire Austin Thomas because he's got to actually have conversations that, because there's so many of them, that I can't have like I used to be able to have in the 33 years that I was a coach. What was Brian Kelly really saying there? Hey, man, in the old school way of recruiting, I'd make those calls. We talk about it right there. Hey, this is what we're offering, or get somebody else to do it. And he was in the fold. Because it's so prevalent now, you had to hire somebody, hundreds of thousands of dollars, to be able to come in here and get it done. So don't tell me that anything that I just said remotely is wrong, fabricated, because the LSU's actions of what they told you that they needed. I'm sorry to all of you fans. I am. I'm sorry to myself. It's just the world that we're living in. And that is the harsh reality. Guys, you sat on the toilet and played Tetris and your collective raised $8 million. What happens when you turn that sumbitch up and start get rolling? That's my only point. That's my only point. But think about it like this. You had 3 first rounders in this past draft. You're going to have 3 first rounders in this year's draft. And Will Campbell, Emory Jones, and Harold Perkins. And if somebody else emerges, you could have more. When you have that much talent, you kind of need to be doing a little bit better. You can't have 6 first-round picks in 2 years, and all you really have to show for it is 10-3 seasons. And I don't think that's all on Brian Kelly, because I don't think everybody's aligned. Not on his, I'm not meaning on his side. I mean on things that are out of Brian Kelly's control. Football coaches, they could get Brian Kelly to go out there and do a commercial for the Collective. It's not his responsibility to go out there and necessarily all the time and collect money. But I will tell you this, had a really good source I talked to today in reference to this. Guys, there's fan bases that head coaches are doing things to collect money for NIL that's, and not anything bad, but like going to a benefit, like going to, like the country club has I don't know, an event, and the country club donates to this to the collective, like $50, $75, $100,000 to the collective for the coach to go there and be there for an hour, be able to eat some really good food and speak about his upcoming team. Just for the collective. By the way, they're doing that every weekend. I forget who it was. I think it was Josh Pate published this. I think it was with Kirby. And Kirby Smart said something so divine. I think it was Kirby. So forgive me if I'm misremembering. But like going around to other to places and doing speaking engagements, like even if you watch the Skip Bertman documentary, I'll even use this LSU related thing. But to both of those points, both coaches going to many benefits to raise money. I know I'm long-winded on this. I know it's not something that you want to hear, but I see Go Tigers saying, I'm happy with 10-3. I don't know if this is sarcasm, but it better be. Because here's the truth. Of all the programs that are out there, you know this, I know this, everybody knows this deep down in their bones. If LSU consistently got back on the right track and was consistent enough in doing that, 10-3 is your floor. 10-3 needs to be your floor every year. The only acceptable thing is 10-3 being your floor. All right, I'm done. He says, is Austin Thomas a bag man now? With all due respect, Go Tigers, Go Tigers, what's your name? I'm not going to keep calling you Go Tigers. What's your name in the chat? If you're not going to give me your name, then stop commenting. Stop being read. But I'm not going to call you that all night. Yeah, there's bagmen everywhere. Like what? Oh, they're just bagmen now? What do you think college football is, buddy? I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm really not, Barry. Thank you for the name. Barry, I'm really not trying to be rude here, like at all. I swear to God. But it's just the reality. Like, when are we going to wake up to the reality of how things are being done everywhere else in the country? Rick says, I'm not. We in it to win it. Me too. I'm not happy with 10-3. David, what's up, man? Says the common everyday fans of LSU have been priced out of going to games. Very fair. And priced out on tickets. Also very fair. You have to park a mile away from the stadium without paying to park. You have to pay $20 for hot dogs and Coke, and you want them to contribute to the collective. Yeah. Yeah, because here's the thing. All of those things that you're doing, what's $25 to $50 a month? David, I told you that I think it's unfortunate. I told you that I thought it was very unfortunate. It's not fair to you. But are you going to sit here and tell me, David, that this isn't the reality? What do you want? Here's the argument that I have everybody that pushes back on this. What do you want them to do? Let the big donors do it. You don't have enough. There, I said it. You don't have enough. You have enough to be ultra competitive, but not to get to the place that you want to be at. When I wake up in the morning, if I'm an LSU fan, like your boy Will Ferrell says, I want to piss with excellence. You know what also is true, too, David? Everybody else in the country is paying for the exact same thing that you are. Right? Like, I mean, everybody literally is doing that exact same thing. David says, win a cruise, all expenses paid vacation. I don't care what they give you. They could give you one of those. What was the quote? Now, some of you weren't in here, so you're going to misunderstand. But if you were in here from the beginning, there was a hashtag floating around in here. Hashtag free the gummies, because they're trying to get rid of Delta 8, Delta 9 gummies. With all that being said, hashtag free the gummies. I don't care what they give you. They can give you prostitutes for all I care. I don't care what they give you. If they give you something, fantastic. But here's the truth. You gotta go into it and saying there's zero. Here is your return on investment in investing in NIL. If you're a fan giving into something, your return on investment is when on a Saturday night in Death Valley, Ole Miss comes to town. Both teams are undefeated. Ole Miss, ironically, who went out in the portal and did exactly what we asked them, or I'm telling you is exactly what they did. Okay. And both teams are undefeated. It's in October, and Billy Cannon, it's the smell of bourbon in the air. You've been tailgating all day, and you win a game 35-34 on a last-second touchdown on a kid that was helped contribute to get here because you put into the collective. That's your return on investment. You can't get away with anymore the way that the old school things used to happen. You illegally didn't pay kids TV revenue money, and now you're paying for it. You didn't give them money for their name, image, and likeness, and you're paying for it. You gave Johnny Manziel, Joe Burrow, no money from the jerseys that you sold with a number 9 on the back of that sumbitch, with Burrow attached on the back of that sumbitch, and he got nothing from it from LSU, not a fucking penny. And you're going to sit here and tell me, oh, well, I'm being priced out. Maybe you are. And maybe you're not going to need to give to the collective. That's on you. I don't know your finances. You might flip burgers at Burger King for all I know. And good on you for doing it. I'm not clowning you if that's what you do. Good on you. But the relative people that can contribute, I asked for 5,000 people, 5,000 extra, get you better than where you were. And it's not difficult to do. Go out there and say, guys, you're $5 million away. Right? You got $8 million right now. Ryan Day said that he needed 13. So what's the difference between Ryan Day needing 13 and Ohio State going out there and saying, watch this, motherfucker, and they go out there and they do it? I'm sorry for the cursing, but I'm passionate about it. I don't want to be complacent. I don't want to be a 10-3 win team every year. I want to get in the playoffs and kick somebody's teeth in every single Saturday. When people walk into Baton Rouge, you know what I want to say? Oh, man, it's going to be a tough one today. I don't see how we're going to come into Death Valley and win, which is majority of the time what teams do. But I want to be the fear dude at the league, that when you walk into the bar and everybody's staring at you because you're the bad motherfucker in the room. I'm tired of it. And I don't think that it's Brian Kelly's fault. I think that we need to be more aligned. That last part's going to get me in trouble. Oh, all right. I need to take a break. LSU baseball loses to Bama. We're back next. Stay with us.
Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements.
By the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Whether you've been injured in an accident, you're preparing for a future with your estate planning, you're getting ready to close in on a real estate deal, or you're about to welcome a new addition through adoption into your family, or you're facing criminal charges, you need very experienced attorneys, and that is what the Drake Williams Law Firm will be able to do for you in navigating the legal system. The door to their cozy office in historic downtown Ponchatoula has been open since 1981. They have helped thousands and thousands of Louisiana families and individuals win cases, close on real estate deals, and regain that peace of mind. Their lawyers over at the Drake Williams Law Firm, Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vicnair, are very determined, compassionate, and dedicated to their craft. It's the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino at AYS sent you on by.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. No, not mud bugs. Unwanted bugs like these. The ones you don't want crawling in your home or business. Trust the Shield from J&J Exterminating. We've been protecting Louisiana homes for over 50 years, earning the trust of our clients because we deliver what we promise. Protect your home from pests. Get the Shield from J&J Exterminating.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
Ruffino and Joe Show is brought to you by Home Field Apparel, which is the best, without a doubt, premium collegiate apparel brand that is out there. They have over 150 different colleges that you can choose from, whether you're an Illinois fan or a Rutgers fan, maybe you're an LSU fan like Blake, or maybe you're an Alabama fan. Whatever it is, even Idaho, they have so many different designs for so many different football programs that I can guarantee you're going to find some great stuff to help root for your favorite team. I've already gotten my Notre Dame stuff. Blake has his LSU stuff. Make sure you head on over to homefieldapparel.com to check out your team's collection of clothing apparel that they have on the website. And when you do so, when you check out, make sure you use promo code RuffinoJoe to get 15% off your order. That is RUFFINO, Ruffino Joe. Head on over to homefieldapparel.com and get your college gear today.
So LSU dropped the series to Alabama. I was not, in all honesty, expecting that. But nevertheless, they did. Look, man, you got to sweep this weekend versus Ole Miss. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to lean in on. I don't know what else to say about the season that we hadn't already discussed. Jay Johnson's got to hit the portal. Sorry. He's probably going to go get 3 bats. He's got to go get more than 3 arms. He can't miss in the portal. He's got to be very accurate. Guys got to develop in the offseason. Hopefully you get a guy back that maybe you weren't expecting to get back, like a Jared Jones. Guys, I don't feel good about it, right? Like I just don't. And they go into the game on Friday. We talked about that in the post game, how they lost it. Saturday, you get a win. Holman's really efficient. You tie the series. You played really well. You played hard, and it benefited you. Holman going back to Alabama, only giving up 3 runs was massive, and you got the win. You got confidence. And then you pissed down your leg on Sunday. You pissed all the way down your leg. You start battling back on Mother's Day. You get it within a score. You can't come up with 3 clutch hits to give you the lead, to give you the win. and that's how you lose. One of those clutch hits wins you the game on Sunday, and you're on track. You only got to win the series. I say only, but you got to win the series this weekend, and you're going dancing. It's just the truth. Are you out of it? No. Do you need to win this series at bare minimum? Yes. Do you really, 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 really need a sweep? Also, yes. Do you probably need a lot of wins in the tournament? I don't know. I hear people saying that because the committee is already going to be making their selections, and they'll wait to the final part to make other selections on teams that win their conference from the lower programs. Politically, I think that you get in because there's a lot of people in that room that are going to be LSU leaning. The NCAA is going to be LSU leaning and wanting to get them in. Do I think you need to win it? No. Maybe win a couple of games. I don't know. But those selections are already being made. Bottom line is, look, I have no other words. I just think that all the little things that you can't do good is what's getting you beat. Like if you did it good, just good, not great, not elite, not exceptional. You just did it good. You'd probably be 15-15 in the league. You'd probably be like Jay Johnson's first year. You weren't good. I mean, you weren't exceptional. You weren't elite. You weren't bad or average. You were just good. Really good club. Really good squad. Got to a regional that year and got beat by a better team. But the bottom line is you just couldn't do the little things well. And I fear that Ole Miss, who sits in a very similar situation that you do, to some extent, they're going to want to come in here and give everything they got to. It is a very steep uphill battle. So if, by the grace of God, you get into Hoover, well, you might have to win that son of a bitch. Because if you get into Hoover and you don't win it, I don't know if you get in, and that's where your season ends. And that would suck. It is what it is, man. Jay can only do so much. But he's going to have to attack the portal. Let me get to this before we get out of here. Spencer Rattler, okay? I have been seeing a lot of very just asinine things being said on social media by Saints media. Over the last week, and I've let it go. You know, like I've let it. I hadn't said anything. Here's what I'm going to say. Can Saints fans and Saints media stop like this whole Spencer Rattler, Patrick Mahomes look-alike type thing? See, I'm a college sports guy by trade. It's what we talk about on the Fino and Joe show. It's what we talk about mainly here. We watch a lot of college football in this studio. Actually, it's what we do pretty much 80% of our time, 70% of our time, and during the season, 100% of our time. And I will tell you, you got to start with Spencer Rattler having, that's a Patrick Mahomes type of throw. Buddy, Eli Manning made some really good throws like he looked like Tom Brady. Hell, he beat him in 2 Super Bowls. Doesn't make him the best quarterback ever or one of the best quarterbacks ever. I really question some of what the Saints media thinks. I really do question their football IQ. Black and gold sunglasses, man. Guys, this is what I do for a fucking living. I'm telling you. And most of you know this. Could he work into something? Can he work hard and get there? Sure. But calling him Mahomes, well, that's really, I mean, he kind of reminds me a lot of Mahomes. Shut the fuck up. Idiots, dude. All right. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good one, dude. Peace.